Assalamualaikum. We're here with Amna Khatib Paracha. She is the Chief Digital Officer for Group M. Amna actually started the digital wing for Group M back in 2014, and she has been in the digital field for the last 10 years. We've seen a lot of evolution in this field, and she's a really dynamic person, very focused on career acceleration, even helping women who have now come into this field at the moment. And she has a lot of plans on how to further empower and help women, particularly in the industry in which she is in.
So to be honest, Group M's entry into the digital market was a little slower or a little later than the rest of the industry. But when we did come in 2014, we changed the way things were happening. So before Group M came into the market, the focus was more on social media and how do we have your presence on social assets. So when Group M came, we moved it towards performance and paid media. So there was a shift change in how digital was taken. Initially, digital was taken just as Facebook posts. So that was the change we made when we came in. Oh, if I'm very honest, my entry into digital was purely by chance. So I was in media for the longest of time, in traditional media, what we call it now, but I wanted to do something different. Staying in the same field of media, working with the same set of clients, I wanted to do something different, and it was actually by chance that I came into digital. I have moved between a few companies, not much actually, because the places that I worked with I thought were the best in what I was doing. So either you move to another company when you think that there is something better to be offered. But I started my career a year at Interflow. That was the time I started. Then I moved towards Mindshare. I was here for good 8 years. Then I moved for 5 years to other places. I was with Park Mediacom for 6 months, and I set up the McCann office in Pakistan for media. And then I moved towards Converge. That is where my digital journey started. So I did move about a few places, but then after 5 years, I came back to my home ground, which was Group M, and I've been here since then. That every day is a new day. Every day there's a new thing to learn, and there is so much to learn that I mark things in many ye sab kuch dekhna hai, but by the next day I have like 10 more things that I need to see. So the most interesting thing is that every day there's something absolutely new which I did not know about. I would say my greatest strength is I'm good at networking. So that is something I really have put the effort in, to get to know the people, get to know people around me, and create that network around me. It really helps. It helps you getting into the right places, the right people, right conversations. Networking, I think, is one of my strengths. I would say leadership, in terms of choosing the right team, delegating the right projects, which means that they're capable enough that I'm delegating. So I think leadership skills. And I would want to say that I'm also a visionary strategist, which means that I can foresee what are the things where we need to be strengthening ourselves, or what are the things that will come up into the market which will become more important. So understanding or picking up the cues before it is actually happening and being ready for it when it comes. Women need a support system around themselves, and I've been very lucky that from the beginning my mother and my husband have been a huge support. So my mother, from of course taking care of my kids when I went back to work, and I went back to work 3 months of maternity and I'm back to work. And when I had my first daughter and I came back to work, and I used to feel so guilty, and I used to feel that no, I cannot do this. And my mother said, what are you talking about? The world can do it. Why can't you do it? You just have to plan things. You just have to give it 6 months, it'll work out. So I still remember, if she had not encouraged me, I would not have continued. And Faisal, my husband, he has been a huge support. He does not say that this is your work or this is my work, or this is traditionally falling in the mother's domain, traditionally falling in the father's domain. He's stepped up every time. Be it actually giving me my career counseling and consultancy of what should I be doing, how should I be going. So he's a good mentor in that way, and with the kids also. So when the support system is there, so if you have to travel, if you have to do some work, if whatever you're busy, that support system is very important. The best piece of advice, I would say there've been two at beginning of my career and then later part of my career. Beginning of my career, the best piece of advice I received was that you have to build a strong foundation, which means work at the right places, work with the right clients, work with the right people, which means that your foundation becomes strong. And that is the advice I give to most of my team members, also the people in my team, that don't worry about money, don't worry about anything else, just worry about that your foundation needs to be very strong. And I think that's helped me. The second advice which I got recently, a few years earlier, was that only compete with your own self. Try to make yourself better. Don't be worried about what everybody else is doing. Don't be worried about, this person is doing that, he got that, whatever. Just be your own competition and focus on that. Mentors, or I've never had one, and I think which is something I should have done. Beginning of our career, we think we know it all, or we don't really need anybody. So I did not get into a mentorship. But now I have a few mentors, but I realized it late. I advise younger people or people starting their careers to choose the right mentor, because it really helps. It helps to have that contacts and connections, and it helps to actually go and ask advice. I was not good in delegation, because I thought that if I do it myself, it'll be right. But then I realized that if I just keep on doing it myself, I will have to keep on doing it always. So delegation also takes a lot of patience, because when you delegate to somebody, the first few times they might not get it right, but they'll eventually learn, and that's how your life becomes easier. I go with the flow. So I do not think that they're criticizing me because I'm a woman. It's just the work. It's just my position, or it is just, it's a regular corporate life. I go with the flow. So it's part of the thing. I've never taken it personally. I think the personality that I am, I even forget that I was angry with somebody the next day. I walk in and say, oh my God, I forgot I was supposed to be angry with this person. So I think with my personality, just sort of, I go with the flow. I think they can. They need the right support system, the right attitude towards things, and I think they can. They might have to put in a little bit more effort. They might have to be a little bit more prepared for things. When you go home, your kids are there, so you cannot just go home and relax maybe, but you have to do a few things, but I think you can manage things. My personal experience has been that men underestimate women. They think if you are married, you can't put in time. If you have kids, you can't put in time. They don't know that women actually can multitask better, can work in a quicker turnaround times. They're more dedicated. They're actually more, in my experience, I've always found, females or women to be more focused. So in my career, I've realized that, so I haven't had a bad experience with women, like usually people do, but I've experienced that men underestimate you. And you have to actually put in that extra effort to tell them that, no, you can do it and you can actually do it better. So my response to that is that the definition of leader was different a few years ago. Okay? The definition of a leader a few years ago was, how long can you stay in office? How many hours can you put into work? You probably should not have a work-life balance, which means that you're so dedicated to work, and that's how you can be a leader. But I think that definition and expectation has changed. You do not need to be all the time in the office. You do not need to not have a work-life balance. Technology has helped a lot. Work needs to be delivered wherever you're working from concept. Agility ka concept, work from home ka concept, even now for this year, even more. So that is what I feel, that the definition of leadership has changed, because of which we see lots of more women leaders coming out. Because the traditional way of how they were evaluated, or what were the criteria to actually climb up the ladder or be the company CEO or the head of a department or whatever, senior positions, that has changed. At least in the industry that we work with, or the people that I see. There are some traditional industries where it still happens, but that definition has changed, because of which I feel the women actually are coming up more. So I think we will get there. We will take some time. It's not just Pakistan. I'll give you an example. A few years ago, we were evaluating how many women EXCO, so EXCO is our management committee, how many women are there in the EXCO. And actually Pakistan had 3 out of 10, where other advanced markets had none, or had just 1. So we realized that we're not that bad. But if you look at in totality over the country, it is something which is, I think, work in process. It will come up. We see lots of bright females coming up. Support systems are getting better. Acceptability of leaving your kids and going for work is getting better. So I think this will become better. And in terms of, if we look at the salary differences between men and women, I feel those are shrinking also. There was a difference, multinationals try to cover that even better, that they don't have differences. But I feel that because of good talent coming up, that is also will eventually shrink as well. So this is one of my personal passions, that I see so many able women around me, when we were out of college or when we had kids and my friends were having kids, so many able educated women who had to leave corporate world because of their either kids or house management or whatever. So this is actually one of my passion points, that how do I bring them back into the workforce and bring them back on their own terms, which means if they can't physically come to an office, how does that work? If they can't do full days, how does that work? So there are a few things that I'm working on myself on it. But if I look from my corporate side, I am also looking after a project called Walk the Talk Initiative. Walk the Talk. So the Walk the Talk initiative for WPP and Group M is that how do we help and make this the atmosphere around the workplace even more conducive for women to go up the ladder. So we have lots of, when we're hiring management trainees or entry level people, we have lots of girls, and then mid-career time, lots of girls drop out because of various reasons. So Walk the Talk initiative is how do we sort of help them even go up? Is it that once they have a kid, it's difficult to return to office, how do we help them in that? If they have to manage their house and it's difficult to put in the number of hours, how do we manage them help them with that? Given that they, of course, themselves have the capability or they are the right resource to help with. Social media has helped small and home businesses a lot, which is the way progression also happens for the economy. So women who are not part of the corporate workforce, or doctors or teachers, or who can't go physically to some place but have the talent, are actually using social media very well. And I am so happy, I get so happy to see when I see that they're also progressing in the way they use social media. Their small businesses actually are flourishing, and this is a whole industry in itself that is coming up. So I feel that digital social media has given them this opportunity. Maybe what we can help them with, and I see there are lots of projects that keep on happening, is educating them on how to use this even better. So I see in small pockets these events and these trainings happening, but this is something that we, however we can in our own capacities, should help even grow more. So I sort of just mentioned that, that giving them the right education in terms of having their product on the platform, and how do they get the right consumers to come buy the product. So right now they might be on the platform but not really attracting the consumers. It's organic traffic that they're getting. So maybe trainings in that, maybe a bit of funding and how to sort of fund for the media that they're spending or the advertising money that they're spending. So a little bit of that can also help. But this even prior to pandemic, we could see that lots of food businesses had opened up. Lots of apparel businesses, smaller level people would buy something and sell on the platform. So yeah, I think this is a good good trend, or a good the wave that has started off. Okay, yeah. Our universities and our colleges, we get education which is very the generic education, or the same education that everybody is getting, but that needs to change with time. So even entrepreneurship is not taught. It's something that some people get the hang of it, some people don't. So one suggestion could be that at your school and college level, they actually tell you how to use these platforms, because even in your college level, for example, how to use these platforms to generate business. That could be one way of doing it. There could be institutes, there could be funding that is available. So there is a bit of legwork that needs to be done, but I think it can be done, of learning how to use the platform, getting some sort of small investments, but the platform is there, so that's possible. And we do work with lots of local publishers, and the agenda or the thought process is that we have to grow our own talent ke liye, our own industry ke liye. So that is something that we do very consciously. So that is the way we want to take it forward also. TV is still the biggest medium, and the strength of the medium is actually evaluated by the reach of the medium. So TV has extremely high reach, digital has reached around 30-35%. So it's growing. Of course, it's not competing with TV as yet. Maybe on certain brands and certain objectives it can, but it's not competing with TV as yet. The growth has been really well. I would still give it a few more years before it really competes with TV. So any new entrants that come into the industry, I would say the same advice that I was given. make your foundation strong. Do not worry about what money you're getting. Honestly, I feel younger people who just come out of universities are looking at big huge packages, not realizing that what they get as the learning, the hands-on experience is what is more important. Money will come once you have your base right, once you have your experience right, you will get picked up or you will get the opportunity. So my advice is be patient. Give it the right time. I see people saying after 1 year that मैंने सब कुछ सीख लिया, which is not possible. So you have to be patient, get your networking right, meet the right people. There's so much of data and information. Listen to podcasts, listen to people who matter, who have who have something good to say. Enrich yourself in that and be patient.